to save that image or its new version. So let's go to save. I click save as. For my needs, I will go to a specific folder here, graphic, and we need to change the name. So let's put the new name. Black white icons 33. That's, I'm gonna call it this way. The next step is to select one image here from the whole area and make it just separate image. So how are we going to do that? Well, this is the technique I usually do in Photoshop, so I'm sorry I'm not very familiar with this program because 99% of the time I use Photoshop. But for those of you who cannot afford to buy a Photoshop, I'm trying to make this presentation here in this program. So let's create a new layer here, and we call it image 1. Alright, now we're going to use selection tool again, but we'll change it to rectangular tool, and I'm going to just mark this area here. Then I will cut and paste the image to the to another layer. So I hit Control X, Control X is not working, so we have to use I should be working. Okay. Alright, and now I know why it's not working, because I have selected image 1, which is empty layer. I have to be here, so this has to be highlighted. So let's do it again. Now it's working. Now I select this layer, which is image 1, and I paste it. So it looks like this image came back to the same location. However, this image is on a separate layer now. So you can think of this like whole process like you have several layers of plastic foil which is transparent, and you just move these layers around. You see, when I deselect here, because this icon makes the particular layer visible, so when I remove the visibility, the image disappears. So I know this image is on layer 1, right? So now let's go and do the same thing with the image 2. But before we do that, we're gonna create another layer. Let's see which icon I need to use. Create new layer. This should work. So we call it image 2, and then we go back to the visible layer, and I'll select this area here. I hit Control X to cut. I select layer with image 2, and I hit Control V to paste. Now my layer, my image is on a separate layer. So let's double check this. You see, so it's on this layer. You can see, and you can check this by just enabling or disabling this layer. Okay, so let's do another one same way. So we add new layer. That will be image 3. Let's cut this one. Control X. Wrong, I forgot to select this layer. Now I can do Control X. Now going back to image 3 layer and Control V. You of course can do with the same operation with the menu by right clicking on your mouse, and you click here anywhere in this area to complete the operation. So we have 3 images and 3 separate layers. So the same way you do with the other images. So I think you should now understand the whole process. So now what else can we do? Now let's go back. I'm sorry, not go back, but let's go and create a new, completely new document. We'll do it from the template, so we'll select, well, it's still pretty big, but we're going to change this here to probably around 250 by 350. Okay, so we have here an empty page. Now we can manipulate it by moving these images from one document to another document. So let's see how we can do this. Paste, and we have third image. Now, why am I placing these images one on top of another? Well, there is a particular reason for that, because you see, when I disable all these layers now, I'm ending up with the background. Let's say I disable the background as well, and if I want to create a new image with a specific particular frame size, and I want to keep the object right in the middle, then I want to stack these objects one on top of another. So let me show you. Let's enable this one, and we'll try to use the guides here for better positioning. So let's see if we can pull the guide from the top and position here. And I'm going to do the same with the vertical guide. So all images will be placed around these 2 guides. So we got the first one. Now let's go to the next one. Actually, that's an empty one, I believe. Yep. So we don't need this layer. We can drop it down to the garbage can. I didn't go through. One more time. Delete layer. This is our second image, and this is our third image. We need to grab it and move it a little bit. Okay, now if I enable all 3 layers, you see the images are stacked one on top of another. So this way I can be sure that when I put the image on my document and I still keep this frame, that the objects are placed here. Now, does it make really sense to keep the space area around the object that big? Probably not. So I'm going to need to trim it a little bit. So let's see how we can do it. Let's deselect everything. Selection none. Okay. And I'm going to select again certain area which is about here, and that's what I need. See, I wasn't sure how big my image is, so that's why I created my image area or image space or page a little bigger, and it's always better to do that way and then trim it later.